Brian Flores, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, who is suing the NFL and multiple teams for discrimination. His attorneys are also here with us. Brian, in this suit, among other things, you allege that Stephen Ross, who's the owner of the Miami Dolphins, this is back in 2019, because he wanted the Dolphins to get a higher draft pick, you allege he wanted the Dolphins to lose, and he offered to pay you $100,000 for each game you lost?
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate situation for a number of reasons. One, the game of football has done a lot for me personally. My parents are immigrants. They came over this country in the 70s, really looking for the American dream for their kids, for me and my four brothers. We grew up in, the projects in Brooklyn, Brownsville, Brooklyn, not too far away from here. And the game of football has opened, more doors for me than I could have ever imagined. So the integrity of the game is of the utmost importance to me. So
how did that conversation go?
It was really a conversation between myself and the general manager, Chris Greer, and like you mentioned, it's Steve's upset about that we're compromising our draft position right now because we're winning too many games.
Did Ross, to you, explicitly say to you personally, "I'll give you $100,000 each game you lose"?
Yes, he did. Absolutely. It's not something you make up.
I'm not saying a situation which is in the complaint about the boat, where he was put in a compromising position to potentially have to run off a boat because there was a player coming that he wasn't supposed to meet with. And, the problem becomes in society and in the NFL when a black man, has convictions and states a position, he's deemed and portrayed as difficult and impossible to work with. He's passionate, moral, and a great coach.
I get that. I'm just trying to get this conversation, which I think is stunning. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what Ross said to you.
Brian is taking on the whole freaking world. Like, this is just...
there were, several conversations about...
it's surreal. Like, it's...
We don't take a vacation. We don't need to... you don't need to win right now. You're going to keep your job. You signed a contract. Things like that. But look, I've got a group of men in that locker room. I need to look them in the eye, and they need to know that I'm helping them reach their potential. We're trying to win games, and I was never going to stand for that. And that, I would say that strained a lot of the relationships in Miami.
Hang on one second. I'm no lawyer, right? But is it even legal? Have you been contacted by authorities or investigators yet? If an owner is offering to pay a coach to lose, how can that even be legal?
Well, he didn't listen to the directive, but the attempt at doing it definitely has some legal implications, and so we're going to prove that if this case continues to go. There's going to be corroborating evidence. There's going to be other witnesses. There's going to be emails and texts. We're confident in that allegation. As Brian said, you just don't make that up, right?
Yeah.
If it's a race case, right? So if he's going to make something up, he's going to say Stephen Ross called me the N-word, right? Like that's what he's going to make up. He's not going to make something up like
any contact yet from investigators, authorities, or any legal contacts yet based on that?
Even if they had contacted me, I wouldn't be able to share that with you. So not to dodge your question, but I wouldn't be able to answer it.
And you think your refusal, to be paid to lose, and your refusal to allegedly tamper with players when it wasn't allowed by the rules, you think that contributed to you being fired?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that strained a lot of the relationships, and not necessarily in the building. And I implore people to, talk to the people in the Miami Dolphins building, the cafeteria people, the security people, the people who work the fields, the people, the medical staff, the player development. I think, from a culture standpoint and from a relationship standpoint, I go out of my way to try to make people feel appreciated. And that was certainly the case. And I'm looking forward to hearing those people speak about their relationship.
And there was an article in one of the Florida papers after you were fired saying, he was fired because he was uncooperative, right? Mm-hmm. What did that sound like to you?
It sounded like a smear campaign. That's what it sounded like. And the one thing that's I don't want to say the one thing, but my character integrity is important to me, and having my character attacked that hurt, more than anything.
Can I just say, like, not only are people going to come and support Brian, but and I just want to make a plea because there's so many other black qualified coaches at all different levels in the NFL. And hopefully Brian has made a change so they can now come forward and support and vindicate their rights as well.
Got a couple minutes left, so rapid fire here. Any other coaches signed up to this lawsuit yet?
Not yet, but there will be.
Yes, we're in contact with people who have reached out to us, expressing similarities which we know exist, and a desire to come on board and follow Brian's lead.
The difficulty in this lawsuit you acknowledge. First of all, everyone can see that this issue exists in the NFL. The NFL acknowledges
the numbers speak for themselves.
The difficulty in your suit is proving that Coach Flores here was fired or is not being hired because of race, correct?
I don't think that's going to be difficult. I'll use a basketball metaphor. I think it's a slam dunk, actually. Don't forget, I mean, he was a head coach. He goes for an interview that the job's already been given to a white comparator. You look at the statistics as well. You look at the admissions from the NFL.
But look at the concussion. One last thing. The problem is prove legally to prove that it was given to Dayball and not to Coach Flores here because Dayball was white.
What about the NFL's decision to treat black people as cognitively inferior to white people with the concussion syndrome? There's so much evidence of discriminatory animus here.
And we can't get to your point that let's have an analysis and a comparison of who was the more qualified candidate, because we don't get to that step because Brian wasn't given a fair shake. So how can you say someone's more qualified if you give him the job before you even allow him to interview?
So, Coach, I want to end with you here. Just tell me what it felt like for you being a black coach in the NFL. How do you think it was different than if you were white? There are all kinds of statistics in here that the duration for a white coach is 3.5 years, for a black coach is 2.5 years. That the number of black coaches that have been fired after winning seasons like dwarfs the number of white coaches that have been fired after winning seasons. So how did it feel to you personally? What pressures did you feel?
I would say I felt similar pressures that black people feel in all fields, not just football. That we have to do more, that we have to be better, that we have to be exceptional, just to stay on an even level playing field. And it's in a lot of ways unfair, but that's I know I'm not alone in that feeling. I know that, and I think we're going to get more stories similar to mine, and I asked them if it's, and it's hard to step out. It really is. It's hard to do what we're doing here, because in doing so you risk doing what you love, which is coaching the game of football. But being a black coach in the National Football League, that there's a target. I would say a little bit of a target on you, and you have to be better than your counterparts.
And these feelings that people feel every day, these tragic feelings that black people are forced to feel every day, this is a reality. And the world needs to wake up, the NFL needs to wake up, society needs to wake up, and Brian lending himself, sacrificing everything for this is an amazing thing, and we're behind him.
Can I ask, again, you're interviewing, in the interview process with the Texans and Saints, if you get called, after this interview that you're hired for one of those jobs.
I'm coaching football.
And will you drop the lawsuit?
No, we need change. And that's what we need. We need change. This isn't about. This is about changing the hiring practices in the National Football League, and that's what the lawsuit is about. But I want to coach football. That's what I'm called to do.
In your heart of hearts, do you think you'll get one of these jobs?
I'm hopeful. I am. I'm hopeful. And that sliver of hope that's really all I need. And if given the opportunity, I'll always do my best to coach guys up and try to help them become the best versions of themselves. That's what coaching is about.
And Brian stepping out now may give other black candidates a real shot at filling some of these other vacancies. So we're not going to say that solves anything. That would just be masking the smell, so to speak. But we're hoping that there's even an immediate effect where people are taken seriously in these vacancies.
And again, I want to let you guys go here. I know you have a busy day, but 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, if it turns out, and I hope it doesn't go like this, but if it turns out you've coached your last NFL football game, how would you feel?
If there's change, it'll be worth it.
Coach Flores, counselors, I appreciate you being with us. Please keep us posted. This is not going to be quick.
Hold on, I'm recording.
It's not going to be easy. And it's the beginning of what could be a long and I think revealing process. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Brianna?